our bells and just rooting him on. So seeing him actually come across, and that picture that we have of you holding up the number 1, that was him. And it was just so awesome to see. Like that was a really, really important feature for us to be able to see this. So last season he was able to finish all the races. There he is on his new bike. And he's ripping across the course. He's no longer last. He's no longer throwing up at the beginning of every race. He's no longer just letting anxiety get to him. He's actually the one now going out and running into the courses and rooting on the rest of everybody else. And we actually have him leading some skill seminars and things for the younger students. Now he's a freshman, he's catting up. And he's really excited to do that. Whereas the first year, he was so nervous. He's like, I don't know if I want to race again. We said, you don't have to. Again, it's not what it's about, but at least show up. And we'll see what happens. So when we were putting the slides together, John said you had 2. I was like, okay, cool. So I'm going to bend the rules a little bit, and I'm going to put up the Carters. So this is on the left, we have Jocelyn. On the right, we have Madeline. Okay, those 2 basically make up the whole idea behind NICA and what we stand for. All right, I've been to many, many expos and many, many different bike things over the years, and I mean, even if you just go to a lot of the rooms that are here throughout the seminar for Philly, I mean, it's changed over the years, but primarily it's going to be middle-aged white males that are in the audience. Look around this room. That is not true. Okay. Again, that's the power of the bike. It's the power of us being able to do this thing. And these 2 couldn't be more different, even though they're twins. Okay? So Jocelyn on the left just loves riding around. Doesn't matter how slow or how fast she is. Doesn't matter if she makes her last lap. Could care less. She just loves riding around and smiling the entire time. And it's hilarious because she keeps a bell on her bike, and she's coming up to somebody behind her in a race. She'll ring her bike, be like, excuse me, can I pass you on the left? People are huffing and puffing and dying, like, okay. And then she'll just go around like, hey, you need help? Let's ride together. You know, it is the antithesis of what we see. Again, when I talk back to thinking about the room, okay? Any of us that are older that race, quote unquote, for other sports, especially when it comes to mountain, cyclocross, or road, you know that even if it's the Cat 4-5 race, it's a bunch of type A personalities that are all just sitting on the start line going, I'm going to beat you all, I don't care. Great, Cat 4-5, you're a winner. Okay? Well, she does not care about that. She's there just because she loves the experience. Okay, when we put on these races, they're big deals. If you've ever been to an Ironman, it feels very similar with the blown up arches and having the whole red or the blue chutes, or having like the feed zones and having people all over the place with bells. It's great. Well, on the other side is Madeline on the right. Madeline's the exact opposite. Madeline plays ice hockey. Okay, she is uber sports, loves it. Okay, she's not into the quote unquote the girly things, but with her, it's more about I get to do something that isn't so seriously in depth. If I miss a practice, it's fine. If I don't feel good and I just want to just hang out, that's fine. If I want to go out for an adventure, that's fine. If I feel like getting dirty today or not getting dirty today, that's okay. She realized like it's so much more chill and relax and being able to just ride your bike and learn some skills. She's willing to take that next step to do that. And it's really neat to see her separate herself from her twin sister, but still, no matter what, in every race and every situation, they're always smiling. All race. Okay? It doesn't matter how much they're suffering or how much energy they're putting into it. They're riding around the course for 2 miles and just having a good time. And that's realistically what this is about. Okay? So for my team, like they are, again, the perfect representatives for what we believe, because you can be the same person, maybe genetically, but realistically, you're very, very different. Okay? Now, we're downstairs. So again, my name's Joe. Rob's down there as well. If you have any questions about doing this and becoming a part of this, feel free to ask us. That's what we're here for. All right? Back over to you, my friend.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Two quick stories, and we'll wrap this up. Pat mentioned, you saw in the slides, the Maryland League, right? Joe mentioned, a lot of these stories are similar, which is fine. This is what's happening in these states that have NICA. These same stories are being played over and over and over again. And what it's doing is getting hashtag more kids on bikes. So I'd like to introduce you to Lily and Emerson from the Maryland League. Maryland wasn't able to make it here. Pat mentioned they had a rainout weekend. They're racing right now. Lily and Emerson met in Maryland's inaugural season last fall. Super nervous first-time racers. Made a pact to one another. They were going to stick together all season, support one another. Like Max, probably struggled beginning at first lap, had a hard time. But they went out and they were blasting on this on this course. And coming in to their second lap, they realized that they held first and second place together. They didn't know it. They're out there to support one another. They're not there to win. But they come into their last lap and they're in first and second place. So because they had that pact, because they had that partnership together, they went across the finish line with their hands held high just like that. You can see them there. And this photo, I was told, appears in Trek's 2019 catalog. There's a little story on there about it. So great job, Lily and Emerson, some more change agents within NICA. Last story, want to tie it back to really like what I think is one of the most innovative things about NICA. Pat talked about the Teen Trail Corps program. Pennsylvania, 4,000 hours of trail work across the state by all of our kids in this program. That program is national, so that's the kind of effect that we want to have in our communities. So say hello to Matt Zuniga, senior, Downingtown East in Pennsylvania. Rode his last race 2 weekends ago in Allentown with us. Works at a local bike shop. Teen Trail Corps for Matt really resonates with him. It has a lot of similarities with scouting and stewardship and advocacy, and he is a proud Eagle Scout. He also races lots of different styles of racing outside of cross country. He loves enduro and downhill. He's even done some of the gravel rides. Okay, so here we have kids who are coming into NICA, and this is just like this builds their base, and then they expand from there. He is a Teen Trail Corps captain. He's one of maybe 10 or so in the state. We have a couple in the crowd here, kids that have earned the badges and their credits, kind of like Eagle Scout ideas. And he next year is riding, even though he's a racer, he loves all this other stuff about environmental stewardship and advocacy. He's riding for Brevard College next year after he graduates. There's Matt getting his Teen Trail Corps captain status. NICA gives out these really cool tools that have like this branding on the side. It's meant specifically to build and maintain and do work on trails. Really, really cool. We should have brought one with us. But. So we're wrapping up here, so I hope you enjoyed hearing about Sam and Hannah, Reagan and Megan, the Carters, Lily, Emerson, and Matt. You know, we started the talk off talking about our 3 points. You know, our kids healthy, our roadways healthy, and is the cycling industry healthy? Only you can decide that. Only the folks in the market can decide that. What we know is that these kids are, we believe these kids to be the true change agents of cycling that we need. So thank you to those who came today, who were mentioned in the presentation, and thank you for the interviews that you gave us to fill in the content. So again, just kind of wrapping up, I want to thank the Philly Bike Expo. I want to thank Danielle and Pat and Joe for doing this and bearing with me as we kind of were down to the last minute putting the material together. I'm going to end with this quote from Tim Blumenthal. He's the president of People for Bikes, one of the country's largest bicycle advocacy programs. And he said this a couple weeks ago. We don't want, and we believe it too, I read this, my buddy that helped me put this together, we read that and said that's what we're going to end with. We don't want to be too idealistic, but when kids ride bikes, good things happen. Look at all those smiles up there on those kids' faces. So thank you for attending, and any questions you can ask or find us down in the hall. We have some tables down there. So thank you, everybody.